Hello anybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Super Mario Bros. 2 on the Super Mario Bros. All-Star Pack. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode, we played through all of World 1, and in this episode, we're going to be moving on to World 2, and starting with the character that we have not played as yet, and that will be Princess Peach. And Princess Peach is going to the desert. I haven't mentioned it yet, but the overworld theme in Super Mario Bros. 2 is one of my favorite themes in all of video games, and it's so bouncy and fun and lively that I can't not like it. So anyway, here we are in the desert with giant rib cages, and we are playing as Princess Peach because, oh boy, we haven't played as her yet, and I got hit and took a hit, and that is not good. So Princess Peach is kind of famous in this game. It kind of defined one of her abilities in that, as you can see what I'm doing right here, she can float in the air with the greatest of ease if you hold down the jump button in midair. This usually means that she is used for easy mode she's basically the easy mode in this game, whereas if Toad was hard mode with how fast and slippery he is, Peach is easy mode for how she hovers and makes a lot of very tough jumps just that much easier. And she really does. I will be using all the characters, so there will be plenty of screen time for Peach, I'm sure. And that poor Shy Guy. They kind of mention this. Well, it's been brought up before, but basically, when you throw an enemy in the quicksand, especially a Shy Guy, and the way they struggle like that, it's kind of morbid, kind of unnecessary that they animated that. And I thought I'd bring attention to it too. It's kind of hard to ignore. So here's one of the downfalls of playing as Princess Peach in this game. She is a really slow digger. She might be good at running, she might be good at jumping and floating, but when it comes to digging and just picking things up, she is the weakest character in the game. So this isn't really an ideal level to play with her first. In fact, this is one of the worst levels to have her with, but because most levels she's good in, but levels with sand like this, she's not really at her best. However, we go through this door, and we're already at the boss of this level. It's Birdo! Don't be so surprised. Except the danger is upped slightly because of, bottomless pits on either side of the battlefield. Wah! However, the battle strategy doesn't change at all with this Birdo. I mean, you just pick up the 3 eggs, chuck them back at her, and that's about it. You get the crystal orb, and that'll open up the Hawkeye. And it is worth mentioning that this is back in a time when Princess Peach was known as Princess Toadstool, and in the NES game she had brown hair, so I guess that's worth mentioning. I'll have more to say later. Alright, so that brings us back in a full circle around to Mario. Now that I've shown off each character in at least one stage, I'm going to be cycling through all of them as I play through the game. So if I die on a stage with one character, I'll cycle over to the next. And this might mean that I end up beating more stages with, say, Peach than other people, than Toad. Toad might not end up getting a lot of screen time because he really is the hardest character in the game to play as. But, if that's how it goes, that's how it goes. I'm not here to, do an all-Toad run, all-Luigi run, or anything like that. I'm not that stubborn. I'm mostly just... This isn't going to be like Super Meat Boy, where I try to show off how hard a game is and how good I am at hard games, but this is mostly just... I want to just show off the game and what the characters are like, and that is a watermelon. Wait, a pumpkin? Is that a green pumpkin? I guess it is. So these vases that you jump down into, where you can kind of go underground, these rock patches along the ground, I always thought that there was stuff underneath them, but never knew how to get by. Because they're basically the breakable block sprites, but that's when I realized they're actually supposed to be dirt, like dirt in the bottom of a pot, of an urn, and that's why there's stuff growing down there. So that was a cool detail I just figured out very recently, and, well, it's neat, I suppose, if kind of silly. Most pipes aren't really worth going into, I'm gonna be honest here. In fact, if there's not a keyhole door in the area, usually going in those doors is a little bit of a waste of time, and I'm a little bit sorry for that. These are Cobrats, by the way. They are snakes that shoot bullets. It's kind of completely weird, but, whatever. Also, I got a star for that, apparently. Also, here's a problem with the Screen scrolling. Screen scrolling, yeah. If you are off screen when a bomb explodes, anything that blows up will not register. It does appear. Also, I do believe this game does respawn its enemies, but I haven't really stuck around long enough for that to become apparent. And of course, it's the potion in the middle. It's always kind of hard to tell where a potion might be. Well, not always. Usually, it'll be close to the start of a bunch of turnips, or a bunch of little patches. Sometimes it'll be nowhere near any of them. Sometimes it'll just be hidden and in the middle of them, and you just have to get lucky, and that's basically all you have to go on it. I'm going to stop going in these vases because there's nothing really interesting in them after that many attempts to go down them. It's also kind of funny that these guys can just rub up against and touch cactuses, and, well, funnily enough, if you think about it, this game, Super Mario Bros. 2, was the first Mario game to actually have a desert world as World 2, so that kind of, I guess, started that tradition. Thankfully, Mario is a lot stronger than Peach is, and so he can dig a lot faster through the sand. It does make for a pretty tense little section, because you can't really do anything about these Shy Guys as they follow you down. When they fall, they'll adjust their position so that they're following you, so he'll turn left, and they'll be chasing you down. But you can't really kill these guys unless... Yes! Yes! And now you have to get lucky here, but there's a sniffet down there, so I assume that is the way to go. Because this is the more dangerous path, I assume this is the path that the game wants us to go on. See, if you try to kill something, well, I guess if they're on the third square up from where you're standing, maybe then, but usually I have a lot of trouble getting any kind of kill there. So we come to the next boss. Is it just another Birdo? It's a red Birdo. What's special about a red Birdo? I guess you can see. They shoot fire. Not just fire, they do shoot eggs too from time to time, but the game does give you these little mushroom statue things that you can just pelt her with too. The fireballs and the eggs are completely random, but you don't need the mushroom statues to beat her. You just need to be very careful in avoiding the fireballs. But all in all, she's not a tough boss, and especially with these mushroom statues here, you can make pretty short work of Red Birdo. So we come to this wall, and we're about to beat this level and wrap up level 2. So we come to the next level, and we have 10 lives. We have so many lives, and we're going to be using Luigi. When I was a child, yes, it's one of those moments. When I was a child, I played this game mostly as Luigi, and look at the way he climbs. Look at his legs. That's just hilarious animation. So yeah, when I was a kid, I mostly played this game as Luigi because I'm nothing if not predictable. There's a pumpkin over here. Now this area over here is kind of suspicious looking. But yeah, when I played this game, I mostly played it at a friend's house on the All-Stars pack, and we played through this game many times, at least the levels before bosses, and it was mostly saved up to later worlds, because in this game, you can keep a save file that saves your most recent world, as opposed to not at all. So, we played it a lot, basically. It was a defining game for my childhood, and... well, I always played as Luigi. I think I almost always played as Luigi, so I have the most experience with him. So I'll probably perform better in these sections, in Luigi sections, than I do with anybody else, with a few exceptions where Luigi is just not the ideal brother to have. Now, I think because this area is so suspicious by itself over here, that's where our mushroom is. See, the game will do that. It'll leave you tells, like little hints and tells of where the mushrooms might be hidden, but there's no way to really know until you throw the potion down. Thankfully, if you go in and out of a door, potions will respawn, so like all the turnips and things will respawn. Now you might be thinking, what's to stop you from, say, going through all to just going back in and out doors and throwing down potions and ripping up plants and getting infinite coins for the lottery machine? Well, the thing is, you can only gather coins in the alternate world twice. And by that I mean, you can only go to the alternate world twice, and after that, after the third time and every time onwards, why is this so hard to say? That was a pokey, and he just exploded into heads. Good God, I'm gonna get this out. I am gonna get this out. So yeah, if you just go back to I think, the alternate Dark World of Death afterwards, after your second time there, all you'll get are turnips and plants and garbage. Why was that so hard to say? So we have a locked door there, so you can kind of see where this is going. There is always... I'm not sure if it's always, but there's usually a key door in the last level of a given world, so we want to find that and get over there. However, there are tons of Shy Guys that are trying to kill us. Shy Guys do not like the Mario Brothers, probably because they have bad blood with them after Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, where they were the main minion of Bowser and Kamek for some reason. There were very rare Goombas in that game. For some reason, Shy Guys have kind of gone on to become Yoshi's arch... Like, if Shy Guys are to Yoshi what Goombas are to Mario. And that's a very weird thing that they decided to do, and we're gonna pick up this key and run! Gotta run for your life! Thankfully, the key can be used to kill enemies other than, you know... And I can't really get that star. I'm just gonna have to run for it. It's hard to beat dodge around here because if you jump too high, you can't get back down. So the only real way you can go is up. So you can't that's avenue of escape that's completely cut off. However, we get through there and we're safe again. Thank goodness. One of the troubles in these little sections is waiting for Shy Guys to just kind of walk along. And then you just kind of, you kill them because you're a jerk. That's a Panzer. They're plants that shoot fireballs for some reason. I'm not sure why. We got a couple of Crobrats here. Thankfully, we got the Crystal Skull, and we're about done with deserts and snakes for now. So let's go through this door and come to the boss, who is a three-headed snake named Triclyde. This is Triclyde. There is a tweeter in here for some reason. I think this thing is called a tweeter or whatever. But anyway, immediately we're going to get into the fight. We're going to pelt him with that. And this leaves us with mushroom statues. Now, this is basically the extent of his powers. He's just going to keep spitting fireballs at you, and you just have to dodge out of the way of them. Thankfully, you don't really need to do this, but I should show it off, and I probably will do it at some point. Oh boy. For some reason, I was not able to throw down there. What you want to do is sort of build up a wall of defense. You don't really need to do it at this section because Triclyde only takes 3 hits, and he's done. Still, I don't like to breeze through bosses too quickly, so I gave him a little more on-time screen than I guess he really deserved. But in any case, I'm going to be going through this door, and we're going to be wrapping up World 2. So we come to the lottery. I cut out the other lotteries mostly, but since it's the end of the world, I may as well just go through this. The desert worlds, I'm kind of tired of them, to be honest. But back here, the deserts in Mario 2 are they're alright, I suppose. I mean, the quicksand gimmick isn't really fun, per se, but the snakes are cool, at least. So that brings us to the end of the lottery, and we have 13 extra lives to deal with now. So I don't think we're going to be getting a game over anytime soon. However, if you want to see World 3 and the rest of Mario 2, and me going on to play as Toad, then I just hope to see somebody in the next one. Bye-bye!